This is episode 47 of the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. In this episode, we talk about what sporting backgrounds lend well to compete in Hyrox. We also touch on the new Hyrox turf debuting at the World Championships in Chicago. We talk a little bit about how easy is an easy workout. And then we go into the Hyrox North American Championships in Washington, D.C. I also asked JK a hypothetical question at the beginning of this episode. Let us know your answers. Sorry I didn't record an intro last week, but let's make hybrid fitness work for you. How's it going today, JK?
Well, thank you, Anthony. How are you going?
Good. It's not a midnight recording for me this time. It's an afternoon recording, so I'm not a little dazed. And I think I forgot to record an intro to our last episode. The last one was episode 46, and this is episode 47. But I was pretty tired. It was pretty late when I was doing that last one, and I think I forgot to record an intro.
That's okay. That's all right. You won't forget this time.
No, I won't.
I think it's one of the first recordings that I've personally done on a Saturday. It's Saturday here, Friday where you are, and I've just finished my strength running session for the morning. And popped home to do this recording and have some nutrition, and I'll get back to the gym afterwards.
Nice. Thanks for leaving the gym to talk to me. That makes me feel pretty good. I didn't know I was worth more to you than the gym.
Hey, mate, there's only two people in the world that I would do that for, and that's Georgie and Anthony.
Oh, yes. I'm one of those two. So today, guys, today's episode 47. I believe I would have recorded an intro, but we're going to talk about JK texted me a question, and he doesn't know this yet, but I also texted him a hypothetical a few weeks back. So we're going to go over both those things. One of them is, what's the best type of athlete, like sports performance or sports being done in the background, their sporting background, would lend well to becoming a hybrid sports athlete. And then we're going to touch on Hyrox just announced this new turf that they're going to debut at the World Championships in Chicago. How easy is easy? When somebody tells you to do an easy run, how easy is that? And when it's not a run, what if it's something else besides a run? What does that mean? And then I want to talk really quick about the Hyrox North American Championships. My wife, Lauren Weeks, is going there. Super fun regional, championship. And it's an open race, and there's not too many races in the US that we get a chance to go and try things at. So she's going there and she gets to run an open race that she is very excited about. And I'm way excited to see what she does.
Yeah, are you were you going to go, or like it's obviously not?
I would love to go, but it's not that easy doing a East Coast trip when you live on the West Coast of the US. It's just for reference, like when somebody on the East Coast goes to Europe for a race, it's a 4-hour time difference. Like,
Wow.
it's like a 6-hour flight. When we go from the West Coast of the US to the East Coast, it's a 5 to 6 hour flight and a 3-hour time difference. Like, it's
That's more.
very close to similar, like somebody flying over to Europe from the East Coast. So it's not exactly an easy flight. And I didn't really want to do that with Lily, and then the plane tickets got expensive and stuff. So we just were kind of like, you know what, I'm going to stay home for this one.
Yeah.
I really hope somebody is there that can live stream it somehow or something. She's going to go on Sunday.
Sunday. Okay, cool. Cool.
Anyway, so let's start with JK. I love this question that you text me, but we're going to start with the one that I text you a few weeks back first. Hypothetical situation. I'm a magical genie and I give you one wish, but you have to pick from one of these. Either all of your lifts that you're able to do in strength are going to be converted your pounds number into kilograms, or all of your running speeds, no matter what level you're running at. So like your half marathon average pace, instead of being minutes per mile instead of being miles per hour, gets transferred into kilometers per hour. Okay.
Yeah.
So which would you rather take? Basically, It's 2.2034 times all your lifts or 1.6 times all your runs.
Right, so that's a good calculation. Just so the ratio is different. I thought the ratio was a lot more similar, if that makes sense. So when you texted this to me, I thought you were just daydreaming on a run and just like wanted to know what I thought. And it's so obvious to me what I would want, and that would be the running. Imagine if I would like. So wait, if I'm running 16 kilometers per hour,
Yeah, so I think I
which is
said it backwards. I think I said miles per hour to kilometers per hour, but it's kilometers per
correct,
hour
yeah,
to miles per hour. So
to miles
if
per
you're
hour,
if you're running 16 kilometers per hour, that
it would be
all of a sudden becomes 16 miles per hour. So
yes, please. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
so basically, if you run a half marathon, which is what, 21.1K,
Yep.
um,
Let's just say at 16 kilometers
yeah,
per hour.
yep. Um, and then you run a half marathon at 16 miles per hour.
That's breaking that. Well, that
So
could.
so basically here's what you do. You can either run, if you run a half marathon at 16 kilometers per hour, you would finish in 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 7.5 seconds. That's a
Hmm.
fast half marathon, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you run a half marathon at 16 miles per hour, you finish in 49 minutes, 7.5 seconds.
And beating the world record
Oh
by
yeah, by about
eight and a
yeah,
half minutes.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so that would be your run speed. So you would take the running speed over the lift. Just for example,
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
okay. Well, here well let's take your deadlift, right?
Yeah.
I think in pounds your deadlift is like 365 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
What's
in kilograms, yeah.
my like today actually I've got an EMOM of let's do 150 kilograms. 150 kilograms
Yeah, but
is what.
it's how many reps, right?
Oh, right. So what's
So your
how
pounds
does it
becomes
work?
kilograms. So basically, if let's just call it your one rep max, just your one rep max. We'll get into the others, but your one rep max of 365 pounds. And we're gonna say since I'm a magical genie, I like all of your joints and your ligaments and your muscles and everything. They become magically strong enough at your exact size, so you don't lose any. You
Right.
don't have to like gain size to all of a sudden get that. Your
Right.
body shape doesn't change. Um, so you go from lifting 365 pounds to 365
Right.
kilograms. So
Kilograms.
basically, you go from 365 pounds to 804 pounds, which
Wow.
in kilograms is 365.
Okay, so theory here though, or I think you've just changed my answer
Have I?
because if the question is I can stay as fit and as fast and as strong as I am now with either the running or the strength, I'd probably go the strength because then imagine that strength on top of how I can run now. I'd be like I'd probably enjoy that. I'd probably enjoy that.
Yeah.
But so to
I'm
go
saying
back to it,
nothing else changes except for
nothing
the
else
weight you can
changes.
lift. And so your body doesn't change. You like nothing,
No.
no ligaments, and it's injury free.
So what would you choose?
I don't know because I was thinking the same thing. If I'm the only one in the world though getting this wish,
This,
I'd
yeah,
probably choose the speed because even
yeah,
I would break the speed world records.
world record,
And
yeah,
then people would be
yeah.
like, "How is this 200-pound guy all of a sudden breaking
Oh,
everything from the 400 to the ultra marathon world record?" Like,
yeah, yeah. It'd be pretty good. Let us know if you're listening to this. We'd love to know what would you rather? What
yeah.
would you rather?
What would you
listeners.
rather? Would you rather have your pounds become kilograms or your kilometers per hour become miles per hour?
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
that's a good one.
All right, that was just our little deal here. So, the best type of athlete that suits hybrid sports. You asked me what type of athlete is best that suits hybrid sports. What do you think? Because I gave you a clear-cut answer and then I waffled a little after that. So, um, what do you
Yeah.
think?
I personally think an athlete who has the background of some form of endurance, whether that is a a team sport, but also has had to or trained in some form of or with strength. Um, and I'll just give you an example, and I'm biased, of course, coming from an Aussie rules background, but our conditioning and our pre-seasons were a lot of aerobic running, a lot of thresholds and even faster, but also on top of that, a lot of strength and conditioning in the gym, lifting, putting our body under load, etc., etc. So I think one of the best sports you could come from is something like an Aussie rules background. But there's more. Like, remind me, Anthony, what did you message me? You had a couple, didn't you?
Well, I said I think I'm highly biased in this, but because I know at least how the schools that I wrestled for trained, I think some wrestlers, mostly middleweight wrestlers. So like the 149 to 197 pounders, uh, those guys, maybe even like 157 to 184 pounders, those would probably be even narrower range. But those guys, and girls, they would be the ones that you do hour-long grind workouts. Like we used to do hour-long matches and stuff. We do
Mm.
training. A lot of the training is like weighted runs. You run with someone on your back, you're carrying someone, or you're like running hard because you're cutting weight. And most of the easy
Yeah,
way to do that is run. And then we'd also always lift, and you got great proprioception and body like awareness of where your body is in space. So you're doing a lot of like body weight movements. And uh, so I mean, I think wrestling specifically because I know the background of that, and I could probably pick out a few guys that could come in and do really well in hybrid sports. Um, but every sport that we pick is going to have a deficiency somewhere. So it's just which of those is
yeah,
the easiest to fix. And I think like wrestling would probably be the one that would have the least amount or the easiest things to fix or be closest to getting to the next level, right? Um, Whereas, if you pick somebody who's all runner, they might not have like the strength portion or the body awareness or the mobility to be able to do some of those things.
yeah,
But I think triathletes are fantastic examples. They have the aerobic ability. Usually it's just they need to add some strength and some body movement stuff. But they have the running down and they have the fatigued like late stage race where they can still run
yeah.
after doing other
It,
movement patterns.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's been interesting in our sport that there's been a few very high profile triathletes who have come in and done a couple of Hyrox races, and they've done very well, but none have cracked into the Elite 15 or even been close. And I put that down to um more so the lack of how do I say this politely? Like the lack of coordination with the functional movements. That's not a criticism. It's just they're so if their VO2 max and thresholds are just through the roof that they haven't done any form of functional movement patterns for quite some time, of course, because they haven't needed to. That maybe the coordination with something like weighted walking lunges, burpees, and of course wall balls really, really can get them. So yeah, triathletes as well, Anthony. I totally agree, but the first thing that I would look at is making sure that there's a big emphasis on the training towards the coordination side of things with the movements, with the functional movement patterns.
Yeah. Um, Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely think that's important. I also think athletes that come from maybe a like skating or long distance skating or
Yep.
cross country skiing, or even swimming. I think swimming is a really good one too, as long as they're doing stuff outside of just the pool. But those type of athletes as well, just because they're aerobic base and what they were doing with their aerobic base usually involved some sort of resistance, whether it
Mm.
was snow or ice or having to push off, carry their own body weight somehow in a different angle than just running or swimming, where
Yeah.
you got to propel yourself through the water. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say those sporting backgrounds probably have great characteristics to succeed. But then it's really got to be somebody that has the mind, uh, the championship mindset, right? Like somebody who's like yourself, mostly looking to just improve because it's something you love, not because like you're trying to chase clout, right?
Yeah.
That's a big part of it.
And I think,
Motivation.
yeah, yeah, touching on that, I think, sorry, it's something that I've been really in my head about lately by listening to a lot of different audiobooks and podcasts about this topic. I guess like the topic of like having a champion mindset. And we live in this world of even if you're a professional athlete now, you're not just a professional athlete. You're an influencer, or you should be in society's terms, and that can be tough. But also, that's okay. Uh, that's okay if you're not letting that get in the way of your goals and your dreams. And just an example during the week, and I haven't told you this, Anthony, like I was on the treadmill for my aerobic run on Wednesday, and I was listening to a podcast about this, and you know, I I had a moment where I was just like, at the end of the day, yes, I'm going to continue to do what I need to do on social media, content wise, but it's not going to it's not going to deteriorate what I need to do for my training, for my recovery, more importantly. And yeah, it's something that you kind of just, if you want if you want things so badly, you'll make it happen. And it's a mindset shift rather than anything else.
Yeah. Um, and I listened to you on the Rocks Life podcast with Craig, and you said the
Everything.
the basis was that like, you stress is stress, and you don't want to be adding stress to yourself because I think I've told you that too before, is like uh, stress is stress. If you are adding stress to your life and other facets, you don't oh you're not your body can't always tell like, oh, this is a stress I need to be responsive to, or let this one go. Like it doesn't work like
Yeah.
that.
Like it's the analogy, not analogy, but it's everything you do or choose not to do. You have choices, right? Everything you do or you don't do, it either hinders or it helps your overall performance.
Yeah.
Um, and a simple example is you get to choose at 9 p.m. every night, as an example, to go to bed or to stay up and do some more computer work like Anthony always does.
Is 9 p.m. the cutoff time? Is that why I should be
Sorry,
asking myself like that? Because I look
I
down at the
should have
clock and
said,
I'm like, and I'm usually like, oh, it's midnight. Do I stay up or do I go to bed?
man, I think there's been a night this week or two where I'm going to bed or I'm preparing to bed and you've just sent me your last text or something and you're about to go to bed and it's like 2 a.m. and I'm like getting to bed. Anyway,
We're on the
anyway.
same sleep and day schedule apparently, even
Yeah,
though we're in different parts of the world.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
so okay, going on. Before we get into like the Hyrox turf thing that they put out, just tell me about your hat you're wearing right there, because I know you gotta plug that in.
Yeah, the feed. It's actually drinking a hydration drink from the feed right now. The feed team or listeners is a one-stop shop supplement endurance supplementation website. I kind of describe it as the Amazon of endurance supplementation. So it's got everything and anything you need for any Hyrox racing or training. So go have a look at thefeed.com. I've got some hydration in my drink, and um, I probably take, I don't know, I probably have 3 or 4 scratch tablets per day. Easily, easily.
Nice. Um, okay, so you went on from there, and I checked some old comments that we got. So I was actually corrected in a comment. It wasn't correction. I wasn't trying to say the Latin term for equinox because the last time we recorded it was the spring equinox. I wasn't trying to say what it meant. I was just saying the way I remember it as it is like equator. That's when the sun's passing the equator. Somebody commented and told us that the Latin phrase equinox means equal night. So it's when it's equal.
Ah, okay.
So
So there you go. Um, and not only that comment, but I didn't tell you this, Anthony, but Georgie's mother, Trisha Vesley, listens to our podcasts religiously and commented on that she learns something every podcast, Anthony. Probably more from you than I, and that's okay. I'll
I don't
cop
sell
that.
yourself short.
But she learned about the equinox the other day as well. Yeah.
All right, we got another comment here, but I'm actually going to move this one and we can make it into a topic for another episode. Person says, great episode. Congrats, JK, on both Glasgow and Houston. Amazing performances. Would love to hear you both talk about the needs and changes that an athlete should make in training to transition from the open to the pro solo category.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Interesting enough, my wife, Lauren, this weekend is doing pro, well, the elite pro, right? She's going to try open. So it's actually
Yeah.
her first open race. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited for her. Like I said, that's at 1:40 p.m. local time. That's East Coast, uh, Eastern Standard Time on Sunday.
On Sunday. Yeah,
Um,
cool.
yeah, so that was those
So
comments right
yeah,
there.
shit.
Uh, so do you want to talk really quick? Hyrox put out that post that the new turf will be coming out from center, will be available to affiliates, and it will be debuting at the World Championships in Chicago.
Yeah, exciting. Exciting on all fronts there, I guess. And the only thing I can say is that it is what it is, and I'm excited to try it out. I know for a fact that I have faith in Hyrox and what they are doing and what they've done and what they are going to do, that they're going to make the turf or the even the whole experience of a Hyrox race as consistent as possible. So yeah, I'm excited for it. Interesting that they're bringing it out for the world champs, but hey, like um, it's going to be great. It's
Yeah.
going to be great.
Um, yeah, so I mean, just personal opinion on it. I'd prefer if they didn't debut it at something brand new at the World Champs because it's different from how we've done the whole season. But a couple of things on it, like I'm sure it's going to look amazing. Like they're doing that whole new white branding of the Elite 15. Sure, it's going to look fantastic, like absolutely really crisp and wonderful. On top of that, like you said, I trust that Hyrox knows what they're doing, and we know that like they they've done their due diligence on it, right? This isn't something I'm sure that it was just like, hey, let's just put this out. Let's go buy this from Home Depot and put it to replace it. I don't. That's not
Yeah,
that's not the approach that they've taken to this. Um, I think that it will be something, they've tried to maintain consistency in their race, and even we saw it last year, right? Like the sleds went from the Alex Athletic sleds to the center sleds, and everybody's times got slower. Like the Elite 15 times in the sled push and the sled pull from those two sleds, you could see like 10, 15 to 30 seconds across the board of the elite athletes, their sled times. So
yep,
but it obviously it didn't change the race too much. If you look at the world record for the men is still on the old sleds. Stockholm 2023 was those Alex Athletic sleds. And the women's record right up until Glasgow was from Vienna that was also those Alex Athletic sleds.
right.
So
Yeah,
you're looking like it didn't change the race a ton. Uh, but the top end got like a little bit of a push, and now like I think they've adjusted to it, and we're going to see like another little adjustment to
yeah,
the carpet.
yeah,
I
for
don't
sure.
expect it to be quick. I expect that they've done due diligence and are trying to match the carpet as best they can.
Yep, agreed. So yeah, I guess watch this or watch Hyrox Space, right? It's only a matter of weeks now until we get to see that live in action.
Yeah. 11 weeks to Worlds. Are you ready?
Yep. Yep, I am. Yep. And I will be.
Will be. There you go.
Yeah.
Uh, All right. Another question. You brought this up and I'm interested in it too, talking about how easy is easy. Now we've said it on here before, like, oh, you got to do your easy runs. Everything you do outside of like your specific workouts should be easy. And it's like, okay, but what is easy? Because, JK, even between us, my easy is not your easy. And if I tried to do your easy, I'd be way overworking.
Don't, well, please. Depends,
if
but
if I tried to do
sure,
your
like
easy on a run, I'd be overworking.
sure, but here's the thing. It's like you're right because easy and what that is to me is and should be different to what it is to you and the listener is what my easy is different to what your easy is. But what it is, I want to be specific here. When I think about easy in terms of a workout or a run or anything, it's the ability to still have a conversation. That's the first thing that I kind of think about. And I think I remember when I was a kid at a young age, that's how I got told what easy running was. It's run so that you could still have a conversation with someone. That's what easy is. Now,
Okay.
that's just an example, right?
Okay. So, question on that. Someone's
Yep.
going to ask you then. running, single movement pattern, you're going, you can have a conversation, you can keep running. All right. How do you
Yeah.
change if I give you a single movement pattern workout and you still are able to have a conversation? If I tell you to do 100 wall balls, can you take that as an easy pace if it's just a single movement pattern?
Okay, I get that. So you're saying how could you do 100 warbles at an easy in intensity? Well, again, it's translating what that conversational pace feels like into the movement pattern of a warball. And you've got me here because in my head it's like that would be bloody hard, and it's that would be bloody hard for me. And I don't know if the listeners like are listening to this and going, "What the hell? Like, how can you go from a easy like how can you do easy warbles?" But I think the answer or continuing the conversation more so is making sure that if it's easy, whatever you're doing, you're controlling it. Like you're controlling the movement pattern. And man, you've just brought up a station that is probably the hardest to control, let's just say, in terms of the heart rate or whatever, but you're in control no matter what. Um, Easy to me is not necessarily zone two. That's the other thing that just came into my head. It's not your zone two necessarily. I'll be honest, most of my easy runs, I'm in zone one. We've spoken about this before. I'm in zone one. Um, Anthony, what else comes into your head about easy then? Like,
I think you can do almost everything at easy, right? Like if you have to, if you want to reduce intensity, you lower weight. If you want to, or go slower. Um, and so you can kind of do both those things. If we're talking about like lunges, I could talk to you and still do lunges and go around. I could do it with wall balls too. It's just I have to take an exaggerated, like my mobility is gonna have
load.
to be really good. I'm gonna take exaggeration pretty far and maybe because I don't have that oomph out of it, or if I'm not getting that last bit of power, or if I'm weakening, it doesn't get thrown as high, or something along those lines, right? But I'm still doing the squat, standing up, throwing the ball, like, and I'd be able to hold the conversation while doing that. If you could do it with air squats as well, like you can go through a lot of the stuff. One of the things that I used to think about when I did CrossFit is like, how do you make like when you first learn how to do double unders, you are expending so much energy trying to like get the rope to pass under twice and it takes so much focus, right? But then you
Yeah.
can just watch people and they just like pick it up and they're like, "Hey, how's it going? I'm just doing double unders right here, like very light bouncing and they're doing this and then they can speed up if they want to or they can just like go back to this easy pace, but the double unders never stop and that's a repetitive singular modality movement that you can get really really dialed into as long
Right.
as you can vary the speed of it. And so
Yeah.
I think the goal is okay, well, let's do all these workouts. If my workout is 30 power cleans and whatever weight it is, how do I do that at a conversation pace as well? I like a power clean's pretty explosive, so I'm gonna have a little spike in my heart rate like each time I do it, right? So I just have to have enough time that that spike doesn't grow any higher than it originally starts out at, right? So
Right.
it's how do you vary the time between that, and that's your easy pace. But like you were saying, when I think of the easy, just the most relatable to people are going to be on like the rower, the skier, the bike, or running. Um, is going to be your heart rate zones. Oh, how do I tell by my heart rate? Well, if you're using a 5 zone model, and we've talked about this before, you got zone one and zone two. And the thing on that though is if you're a well-trained athlete, such as yourself, JK, it's it kind of takes an effort for you to get into zone two. And so then it the begs the question, is that still easy? And like it's doable, but it's costing you something. I don't want it to cost you anything when it's easy. I want it to be movement pattern. I want it to be strengthening your lower limbs so you're getting used to the impact and strengthening those ligaments and tendons and everything. And bone, like getting your bone density up, right? Like all that kind of stuff, everything that the impact load affects.
Right. So, in theory, do you believe that your easy work, whether it is a run, row, ski, a form of machine, you should be making sure that the effort isn't, as you just said, sorry, isn't um you're not expending anything, or you're not taking away anything from your ability to do more work afterwards if you have any more workouts. Like that's what
But
easy should be to
yeah,
you.
don't take away from your ability to do something else later on. Like if I go too hard on one thing, I'm not going to be able to. What if the next day I have a intense workout I'm supposed to do, but I spent a little bit too much trying to get to zone two instead of staying in zone one on this workout, and so now all of a sudden I don't have as much to give in the workout that actually mattered.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the things that I thought I'd bring up on this topic is the idea of like smart volume, and where to place that volume and when does it matter, right? Um, I know you said something like this with Craig as well, but Bo made a post earlier this week that I really enjoyed, where he talked about just the hybrid engine program, and he said the volume is sneaky. That by the end of the day, he looks at what he's done and it's a shitload, but at the same time, it felt very manageable and he's good to go the next day. And so
Mm.
this is an example of just a normal day of programming, right? This is just it was, I think, a threshold day. So take that, but I want to just say everything that he did in one day total. When you hear the totals, you're like, holy crap! But like JK, you've had days like this too. I could go through and do one day for you, and it would sound very similar to this. You'd be like, "Wow, I did all that in a single day." Um,
Yeah.
but so this day that Bo wrote, he said 19 kilometers of running, 40 minutes at threshold, 40 minutes of that 19 kilometers at threshold, 40 sumo deadlifts at 100 kilos, 80 toes to bar, 100 wall balls at 12 kilos, 50 plyo push-ups, 20 minutes on the Echo bike, 125 meters of sled push at the pro weight, 100 box jump overs, 4 minutes weighted plank, 4 minutes of wall sits, and 120 Russian twist. That's the entire day. If you were
Yeah.
to sit here and try to go through that one thing at a time in that list, you'd be wrecked. And if you
Yeah.
tried to take that at any sort of high intensity, you'd be wrecked.
Yeah.
Um, but just the way we went about it, you're not, because it's little doses, like we talked about early on in this. It's like little minimally effective doses at different times throughout the day, and then letting yourself recover. The idea is how much you can recover.
Correct. And I've learned that, especially over the last year with you, Anthony, where intensity, what's the right thing to say here? Just simply the volume is far more important than the intensity. What you just mentioned about Bo's day the other day, the volume of that, he did that and was able to do it to the high
Mm.
intensity. Or probably,
Hey, can you hear me? It's cutting out.
hello,
I don't know if
can you
what
hear
you
me?
said, yeah, I can hear you now. I don't know if what you said was caught on the recording or not, but I'll listen back to it. I don't know if you want to say it again.
So some of Bo's day the other day would have definitely been more intense than the other work. But as you just said, if it was all intense, then of being able to be available the next day.
Right.
So yeah, um, treat it as easy. I think that's the most important thing to say there because it's so easy to not so easy to feel good or if you're feeling good, be like, oh my God, like, I'm just gonna like do this run a little bit faster just to get it done. I'm feeling good. But is that really the right thing to do when overall you should be making sure that easy is easy so that you can still be available as you say, Anthony, the next day.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it's about, right? Being available over time, not necessarily at this time. And that's
Yep.
also why like endurance
Yep.
sports like this, they take years and years and years and years. And we do have a couple younger athletes coming in now, uh, but it still takes time to develop this the requirements of this type of race.
Sure. Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
um, awesome. Well, I know you got to get going here in about 2 minutes, so why don't we start to wrap it up? I'm just going to say it one more time. The Hyrox North American Open Championships are taking place this weekend in Washington, D.C. You'll be able to catch a lot of people over there, including some elite athletes. I know on the women's side, I think Tara Jackson is racing. My wife, obviously, Lauren Weeks, she'll be racing. And I don't remember. Oh, Alondra Greenlee, I believe, is going to be there as well. So be cool if you guys, anybody that's there, cheer people on. I think on the men's side, I think Dylan's doing the men's open. So we'll see if he
Is
can.
he okay? Cool.
What?
Yeah. Is there anyone on the men's side that is racing?
Yeah, I think it's just Dylan that I know of. There is on the men's side uh, for the open category. There's something like 75 pages of people that I'm not going to go through, but I'm sure there's some really good people in there. They have it all. I heard it's all lined up by start time, or start time is all lined up by age group. So interesting uh,
Okay. Yeah.
setup for them. But if you guys want to go watch the race, if anybody can live stream it, please do and send me a link to be able to watch it. I'd appreciate that. Anyone else? JK, you want to add anything?
No, best of luck for anyone who's racing on the weekend, and I'm sure there's other races throughout the world actually on the weekend. I'm sure there's a European
No,
race
this
going
is the only
down, and
Hyrox this weekend.
no way.
I think next weekend
Wow,
has three or four, but yeah,
that's
this is
strange actually.
a solo Hyrox weekend. Very, it's kind of an anomaly now. It used to be like, oh, I can't wait for this event on this weekend, and now it's like this is the only event on a weekend is amazing.
Yeah, definitely. So best of luck everyone in Washington this weekend.
Yep.
And if you ever want to reach out and have a chat, guys, add me on Instagram, jk.jameskelly. And thank you for listening.
So, JK, how do people get to watch you work out? What do they have to do or be to have that privilege?
Um, they can be on my training team, or you can be sent a link by myself, like I did to you, Anthony. Just on that, I had a workshop yesterday that my team was able to watch my one of my workouts and I send it to Anthony as well, so you're able to watch it as well.
Yep.
I was
I I I thought it was fun just watching you suffer. I was like, man, he's really going for it.
Man, I so just on that, just I know where we were going to finish, but we haven't spoken about it. I went out too hot. I went out too hot, and it's a I wasn't able to hold the pace for the whole 6 rounds. For the listeners, 6 rounds, four time, 400-meter run, 25 burpee to plate, and I should have lapped it. But my first three rounds were definitely faster than my last three.
Were they? I turned in round four. So
Okay. Yeah, cool.
sorry. I
But
can I can
yeah,
cut that out if
I
you
was
didn't want
going
to
for
share
it.
that. But we'll
No, no, yeah, no, you can share it.
all
But
right.
no, it's good.
Awesome. All right,
Um,
guys. Well, we're wrapping up. You can find me
all
at
right,
the
man.
Hybrid Engine on Instagram or on YouTube. You can also, if you want to have some really enjoyable YouTube episodes to watch while you're on a run or something, I think my wife's YouTube, Lauren Weeks on YouTube. Those are just fantastic to watch. There are 4 episodes up right now and a fifth episode where her and I review and do a race recap together of her Glasgow race coming up. That'll be released on Sunday. And the Houston Elite 15 doubles will come out after that. And then what we're doing after that will be about weekly. So if you guys want to tune into her YouTube or the Hybrid Engine on Instagram and YouTube, or you can find myself, Anthony Parasini, as well. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. If you'd like to get in contact with James Kelly to seek out some coaching or for general questions and inquiries, please go to Instagram and find him at jk.jameskelly. Or you can find him and Georgie Vesley on YouTube at James Kelly and Georgie Vesley. If you'd like to contact Anthony or seek out programming or coaching questions from the Hybrid Engine, please go to Instagram at the Hybrid Engine or at a Wild Parasini. Thank you again. Have a great day.